Well, first I want to start, I do think that we played well in the first half, and 17 assists, limits, I think we only had 3 turnovers in the first half. It was good to see guys make some shots. I think after Monday night, we went 5 for 25. People are going, man, are they going to make shots this year? And I told you I wasn't worried about that. And, you saw that we got some guys that can really shoot the basketball. So that part was good. I was pretty pissed off in the second half, guys. I felt like I was going to have an aneurysm. I was so mad. Let me tell you, Mike Davis is a hell of a basketball coach. He's coached in a national championship game. He's just got a young team, a new team. It's going to take them a little bit of time to get there. So I have all the respect in the world for him. We were more gifted tonight. We're physically more gifted. We're more skilled. We're deeper. And when we played the right way there for a little bit, it looked good. And when we didn't play Cincinnati basketball, hopefully it's a good lesson for our team. The minute that we don't stay focused and locked in, it don't matter what your gifts are, what you are relative to your opponent. So I was pretty pissed off in our performance in the second half. Make no mistakes about it, but this time of year, it is about learning and growing, and I think there's a lot we can learn from the second half tonight, and then a lot we can take from playing well in the first half.
You mentioned the assists. Just how satisfied are with what you've worked on through the offseason to see the passing at that level in the first half? And was that maybe what was a problem in the second half, is they weren't maybe a little too selfish or not sharing it enough in the second half?
Yeah, I'm cautious. As mad as I am at the play in the second half, Chad, I'm cautious to use the word selfish. I don't think we have that. Yeah, I'm not coming at you. I don't think we had selfishness. These guys aren't selfish, but to stop sharing the ball, making the simple play, and then playing aggressive while you're doing that, the result's half. You score 60 in the first half. You scored 33 in the second. Well, that should be a lesson for us. We've got to continue to play the right way. And we're not going to shoot the eyes out of it every night, that's for sure. But we didn't play the right way in the second half, and that was infuriating. And it was both ends, and they both affected each other. So we got some work to do there. But it was good to see it come together at times, and it was frustrating to see us relax and not stay focused.
You talked about your frustrations with the rebounding after Monday. You go 52-26, double up Detroit Mercy tonight. Did you see anything? Was it just effort? Was it execution that was different tonight?
Yeah, I think I think even to start the game, I didn't think we were boxing very well. I thought we won a couple jump balls, we out-athleted to get some basketballs, but I didn't think we were boxing and rebounding. We just got the ball. So we weren't impressed with the technique. We got a lot of work to do on the defensive board. I do think we can be a really good offensive rebounding team. I think we can be a good defensive rebounding team. We got a lot of work to do, guys. But obviously, you look at the margin. I was pleased with the result, if that's what you're asking. I was pleased with the result. Do I think that we were great on the board? Even from the jump, there were some things I was disappointed with.
Coach, you mentioned all season how talented and deep your team is. The way your bench has played these first 2 games, is that kind of what you envisioned coming into this season?
Yeah, guys, I've always wanted to play 9-10 guys. I'd like to play more. I think, number one, you can play at a pace and you can play an aggressive style of play that you can do over and over again when you play deeper into your bench. And then number two, you develop players. The guys have a chance to really grow within your program. And so I think great programs, for the most part, do that. And certainly we're going to do that here. And I hope there's a couple other guys that can get some playing time.
As a follow-up, any update on Rayvon Griffith as far as?
I want to be clear, guys. It's not like he's done anything wrong. He's not in the rotation right now. And it's not like he's far away from it. Honestly, just fundamentally and a couple other things, he's just not quite there yet as a young player. And you got to think, Jizzle's going through a lot of the same stuff, but the depth at Rayvon's position is just so much different. All we have is Jizzle and Day-Day at point guard. So Jizzle's making a lot of those freshman errors that you see Ray make, but the difference is Rayvon's got John Newman and Dan Skillings and Seamus Lukosius and Josh Reed all kind of in that swing position. So he's just in a little bit more difficult place with our rotation, and he's got a chance to break into it. I mean, you guys can see tonight, there's opportunity to break in. He's working his tail off to do it. I think he could. I really do. But we're not going to just throw him out there and burn a year of his life away until I'm solidified he's going to be a significant contributor this year, which he's still working towards. So that's the truth of it.
For now, is the red shirt still on the table?
Correct. Yeah, it's on the table, and I think if you throw him out there when you're up 35, that would take that off the table, and that's not fair to Rayvon. As much as I'd like him to get out there and play in front of our hometown and our fans, it's not fair. Now, if he goes out there, it's because he's solidified himself as a rotational player, and he's going to make meaningful minutes. We were in the same situation last year with Josh Reed, if you guys will remember. And then all of a sudden, Josh Reed breaks into rotation as a good freshman year. But, man, I as much as I want him, tonight I'm going, damn, I want to put Rayvon in the game. But I want to make sure he's going to play meaningful minutes before we make that decision early in the year.
Wes, how much of the 13 of 21 three-point shooting in that first half was due to good passing, making the extra pass, and getting open threes as opposed to maybe contested threes?
Yeah, I thought on Monday night we got a lot of wide open threes too. We just didn't have a bad shooting night. But yes, I mean, when the quality of your shot's high, you got a much better chance to make them. And I thought the ball movement was really good at times. And we have a really skilled team. We've worked really hard at that.
You mentioned a guy like Josh Reed a couple minutes ago. Just talk about his performance tonight, 5 points, 12 rebounds. Just talk about what you thought he did tonight offensively and defensively for you guys.
I'll be honest, guys. I look down, he has 12 rebounds, and I'm pleased with that because he's got a knack for the ball, and he's got to make an impact there. I didn't think he played great. I think Josh would tell you that. That he's got to take care of the ball better. He's a heady player. He's a smart player. For him, I think he had 3 or 4 turnovers. I haven't looked yet. He has 3 turnovers. I mean, he's got to take care of the ball better. He's got to make better decisions with the ball. But yes, he was great on the board. It was great to see that. But he's a really good player that can have a really good year for us. And I want him to take a step here early on in his sophomore year.
Wes, your thoughts on the 2-point defense tonight? The defense inside the arc was a definite improvement from the opening game against UIC.
We rotated the ball significantly better. We had much better presence at the rim as collectively as a team. You guys know I was pretty pissed about that Monday night, so it was a conscious thing to work on in practice.
Anything else?
Any comment on the NCAA denying the appeals today?
Yeah, I'm going to be cautious with my words because I'm very discouraged. I think everybody here is confused. There's so much to unpack on this deal. It just doesn't make sense. And I think first off, we got to kind of look back here and put this into perspective. People want to make this a simple thing, and it's not simple. 3 or 4 years ago, an organization decided to just open the floodgates, NIL, immediate transfers anytime you want, and the floodgates just come flying open. The toothpaste comes out of the tube. And everybody in college athletics, there's an organizing body, the NCAA, that allowed that to happen, whether they were forced because they didn't, over a long period of time, address necessary changes that should have happened. But the body that was governing college athletics, that was in charge, let the toothpaste out of the tube. And there's a lot of reasons. That's a whole conversation in itself. And now people are going, we got to put the toothpaste back in the tube and restrict some of this in some possible way. So we decided that we wanted to restrict transfers. That's fine. I think most people support that. Most coaches support that. I have no issue with that. If we're going to restrict transfers, let's make it very clear. So we decide that we're going to restrict transfers. And we come out with a set of guidelines. And we say that there are 3 types of waivers that are ways that you can transfer a second time. That same organization, the NCAA, that that was overseeing us when the toothpaste came out of the tube, came out and created a situation now in a process where there's waivers. I think it's a really, really good question that I wish people in the media would start asking. Why are there waivers? Why do we have them? I'm curious to answer that question. It'd be a lot clearer if they just came out and said there are no two-time transfers, no exceptions. I've actually heard that the people in the room making the decision didn't want waivers. So somebody needs to figure out why we have them. But if we're going to create waivers and we're going to create guidelines for a process, and kids and universities and coaches and teams are going to make decisions based on those guidelines, then we have to follow through on them. Because right now, I'm trying to understand the purpose of Aziz and Jamil not playing. And the only thing that I can make sense of is the NCAA doesn't want to have mental health waivers. So they're going to deny all of them so that now nobody will try this again. If we don't want waivers, we shouldn't have waivers. And that, in my opinion, is totally wrong and unfair. It's unfair. It's wrong. Because I'd love to have some restrictions on transfers. I'd love that. That'd be great. Okay, that would help college basketball, in my opinion. But, and let me make this very, very clear, I'm not okay with using my guys as examples for the next people that are transferring. I'm not okay with sacrificing our kids. And I do believe that's what's happening. We're sacrificing this round of kids for the future. And that is wrong. It is wrong. It isn't about whether we should or shouldn't have second-time transfers. It's about we have a process, we have guidelines, people make life decisions based on those guidelines, and now they are confused. And let's think, in their time in college athletics, they've been allowed to transfer whenever they want. Who allowed that? And now they're told, well, you can transfer, but you got to meet these guidelines. Well, I meet those guidelines. Not just I think I do. I've consulted with a lawyer. I've looked into it. And now to go into the season, not hear anything, it's confusing. I don't think people understand personally, when you interact with the kids every day, I don't think people understand that are making decisions. They're human beings that are being affected and there's a lot of dynamics that are at play here, obviously, that I hope somebody will try to figure out. But there are kids that are being sacrificed for this, that you actually have to come in and deal with them and deal with the things that they're obviously going through stuff to be in this predicament anyway. Now it's 3 or 4 times harder. And it is totally unfair and discouraging. And we are we appealed for Aziz and they denied it. I think they said that he checked every box, but they couldn't figure out why Cincinnati. Why does that make sense? Well, guys, he's from Senegal. He can't go back to Senegal, go to college. He played his first year at Akron in the state of Ohio. His American family, and there's a lot that goes into that he doesn't want talked about publicly, is within a driving radius of this campus. Why Cincinnati? Where is he supposed to go? That's the only feedback that we got. They said, everything else checked out. But it doesn't make sense why he would have to go to Cincinnati. His coach at Utah Valley last year got the Cal job. The majority of his teammates transferred, and they're having success playing other places. His whole support network gone. And then he's told he can do this, that he meets the standards, so he makes a decision to leave. This is the place that's closest to his support system. He can't go to Senegal to play college basketball. And they're saying, why Cincinnati? It doesn't make sense to us. It feels unfair, unjust. It ain't right. And I can tell you this, we're going to stand by him. We're going to support him. We're going to petition the NCAA to reconsider this thing on Monday. And I wish they would. There's a human element here. And I'd say this finally, and I could go on I know way more about this than I ever cared to know. But guys, they came out 2 weeks ago and said this process ain't right. They made a statement. It's not right. It's messed up. We're going to change it next year. But there's human beings that are being affected. Change it now. My gosh, change it now. I mean, it is ridiculous. So I just wish they would for 1 second go, what are Aziz and Jameel going through? What did they do? And this is the last point I'll make. It is really important for all of us in our lives to have accountability when we make mistakes. That's an important lesson that we all have to learn. And when we make mistakes, we have to be accountable. And that's what a governing body is there to do. They have to hold people accountable. And I appreciate that. We have laws in this country. If you break them, you should be held accountable. Like, that's a great lesson for kids. If our kids are late, we hold them accountable. It's a great lesson. Okay? What have Aziz and Jameel done wrong? What are we holding them accountable for? What did they do? They haven't done anything. Are we holding them accountable to make a broader point of trying to put toothpaste back in a tube for college athletics? That's not fair to them. How do they have any... It's taken me months and months to figure this whole process out. I'm 40 years old, a professional. I've been in college athletics for almost 20 years. Over the last month, I'm finally starting to piece some stuff together. How the heck are student athletes last spring supposed to put this together? They put out one piece of paper. That's what we all went off of, including these kids. What are we holding them accountable for? If they broke a rule, if they made a mistake, then they shouldn't be allowed to play. I support that. But they haven't done anything wrong. This is wrong. And I believe John Cunningham and Neville and our President Pinto, I believe those guys and this community and these fans, I think are going to stand by these kids and support them. Because I think anybody that really looks at this goes, this isn't fair to young people. And you're dang right, it ain't fair to our team. It ain't fair to our coaching staff. It ain't fair to our fans. But let's start with them first. They're people. They're human beings. And I just, please, NCAA, whoever that is, whoever's over there, I don't even know what that means. They don't communicate like that with us. But whoever's over there, look at it as they're human beings. They're not examples for the next crop of people that decide to transfer. And I think if they look at it like that and go by the guidelines they set out in the spring, I believe those two be on the court tomorrow. So I wish we start asking questions: why do we even have waivers? And what were the guidelines for those waivers? And why wouldn't we just clear the people that meet them? And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.